Podcast Network. The light shines brightest on our indie podcasts.
Two suspects are being. One case involves the FBI is now offering $100,000 to see if the police are releasing.
Welcome to Misty Mysteries. I'm your host Keely, and this is a true crime and paranormal podcast. On this episode, since I will be taking a break to work on future episodes, scheduling, and many other podcasting stuff that keeps Misty Mysteries running, you will be hearing one of my Patreon exclusive episodes I call Tea and Behind the Scenes, where you get to hear how the episode topic was picked, details I may have missed in the episode, and my feelings towards things. It's sort of like a documented diary entry for each episode. Hey, it's Keely, and welcome to Tea and Behind the Scenes with Misty Mysteries. Grab your caffeine and your lunch, and let's talk about the episode Ghost Adventures Then and Now. This one is an interesting one because it was a different episode at one point. I actually released this episode with different writing very early on in the podcast when I was doing 2 episodes a week. But I was not happy with the way it turned out, and I think it was up for maybe 2 days with like 30 downloads, so only like 30 of you heard it, if some of you are still here that heard it. Originally, it was more of a recap of the whole documentary, and I mixed up Aaron and Nick at multiple points in the episodes. I was like, Aaron Groff and Nick Goodwin. It was messy. I think at one point I also said Nick Bacons. So I wanted to redo the episode better than before, since I try to always improve and move forward on Misty Mysteries. Plus, as a paranormal podcast, I find that Ghost Adventures gets brought up a lot, especially while researching, since they have pretty much been everywhere. This episode has actually inspired me to do a series, and I think I kind of talked about doing them a little bit on the other behind the scenes. But it's inspired me to do a series of episodes I have planned on paranormal investigation techniques and tools, the birth of spiritualism, famous paranormal teams, and famous mediums. It's definitely going to be a long series, but I feel like it's going to be fun to see how we got to where we are today with paranormal investigation. And I will most likely start with the birth of spiritualism, so of course that means we'll probably have to get into Harry Houdini. I feel like we can already see how paranormal investigation can be what it is today with some of my episodes I already have up, like the Ghost Adventure one and Ed and Lorraine Warren's life. As for the TV show, Ghost Adventures, I really actually do enjoy watching it at times. My personal feelings towards Ghost Adventures are neutral, leaning on more of the liking side. I actually really enjoy the original documentary and early seasons, kind of before Nick leaves, because after Nick leaves, I feel like there's definitely a shift in the show to what I like to call the Zach show, because at times it does feel like everyone else is secondary to Zach. I don't watch the main show recently for a few reasons. At times, the disrespect towards spirits feels a little bit too much to me. The same thing goes for humans, especially Aaron, because I love Aaron and I don't like watching him be bullied. Sometimes it feels a little bullyish to me. And if I watch too much Ghost Adventures, I feel like the spiritual activity around me increases, but the negative spirits instead of the normal ones I see or feel. I do enjoy the spin-off shows a lot, especially the new one, House Calls, because Aaron does take on more of the lead investigator role here. It's also something different than going to famous haunted places, although with the house calls, I do worry when they are being told to provoke the spirits, especially darker ones, because I worry it does more harm to the homeowners after they leave, who has to live there. In some of the episodes of the first season of House Calls, I was getting so mad when they were dealing with something kind of darker, or like a family member of the person, and Zach kept telling them to taunt or provoke this person. And I was like, stop, you're in someone else's house. You're going to make it worse for them. Because I think as paranormal investigators, and I kind of get this from kindred spirits and taps a little bit, you should be leaving it better instead of making it worse, you know? I also really liked Haunted Objects. That was kind of used to promote Zach's museum, but it was a fun little quick show. But I also liked the Demon House documentary. They have a lot of good documentaries going into special haunted locations, like the revisiting of the Goldfield Hotel. That was a really good one. But going into this episode, I never wanted to discredit any of the members of the Ghost Adventure crew. As I learned more about them, I saw that they had the same crew, including camera, audio, and editing, who have a passion for what they do. For example, one of the mic equipment people that work more behind the scenes, he is very, very active on the Ghost Adventure community on Reddit, as well as other Ghost Adventure communities. And he loves to talk about the crew because it's a specific set of people that film. Like, if you ever wonder, they talk about how they're going into lockdown, you're like, yeah, what about these random camera people? It's not random camera people, it's the same people who they always have with them. Ghost Adventures definitely has its pros and its cons as a TV show and paranormal investigators, but what they do, I can never deny, has really changed the way that we see paranormal shows today. There's a certain set of early to mid 2000-ish paranormal shows that really set the standard to what we have today. And lately we've seen a lot of progress in these shows, taking a turn to be more respectful and safe in their investigations. Safety is a big thing. Sometimes paranormal investigators are not very safe in these old, moldy, maybe asbestos-filled places. But they're getting better at that. And at the end of the day, Ghost Adventures did help build what we see today in the paranormal world. And I'm excited to see how it will change with the new teams and investigators who are changing it to be what it is, to be more respectful and getting rid of negative content about indigenous spirits and dumping the type of investigation that assumes everything is maybe evil or demons. This is all I really have on my Ghost Adventures episode. I hope you enjoyed me kind of talking about Ghost Adventures, my raw, real feelings. I enjoy making these for you, so thank you for being here. You just listened to Tea and Behind the Scenes. If this episode interests you, you can hear more just like it on Patreon. For $10 a month, you get access to every behind the scenes in the month. And for $5, you get 2 of them, a paranormal and a true crime one. Plus, each of these tiers comes with a monthly newsletter to keep up to date on what to expect from Misty Mysteries for the month and much more. If you are interested in these episodes, my lowest tier at $2 offers the newsletter, ad-free episodes, and a shout out on the podcast. If you aren't in a place where you can support over on Patreon, I just want to let you know that coming back each week to listen is more than enough. And I truly appreciate all of you, especially those who have supported Misty Mysteries from the very beginning. Really though, thank you everyone for listening and helping me share the stories of the victims of unsolved crimes and missing persons. Please stay safe out there, stay hydrated, and I will see you next week.